Okay, so up until this point, we have basically the whole skirt completed. Now we just have to get the bodice done. But if you haven't seen the transferring measurements to fabric video, that is the previous video to this one. So if you haven't seen it, go check that out before you watch this one. But we're basically using the same method, and that's taking her measurements and dividing it in half twice and putting that on the paper. And I'm cutting out her bust and her waist measurements, and then I'm going to cut out the shoulders. And once I have this piece completely cut out, I'm literally going to use it to cut out the same piece in the mesh fabric and sew those pieces together. So once my client had her first fitting is actually when I decided what piece of mesh we were going to use, because I wanted to make sure that we used the best one that was going to melt into her skin. So this one is a little bit too light, so we went with the first one that I put on there. And like I said, I used my back bodice piece to cut out this mesh part and sew these pieces together. And so once you have that done, then you'll go ahead and you'll insert your zipper. Now I am going to make an individual video for the zippers so that it can be a little bit more informative. So be on the lookout for that as well if you're interested. But yeah, so I put the zipper in. Now it's time for me to hand sew the bodice on her dress. So the way that I found that works for me is I pin the bodice in place on their body so that it'll stay in place while I'm sewing it down. While it's on her body, I'll go ahead and sew a couple of pieces down, like maybe the shoulders and like the breast part, before I take it off and put it on the mannequin. Now, if the dress is too small for the mannequin, then I would have to sew the whole bodice down on their body. However, if it's too big or the right size for the mannequin, then I can just put the dress on the mannequin and pin it in place so it doesn't move while I'm sewing it down, basically. That's what works for me. I don't know how everybody else does it, but this 9 times out of 10 gonna do it for me. So now that I have the bodice pinned in place where it needs to be, I just take my scissors and I just cut off the extra lace that comes with the applique, just so I won't have all of that unnecessary fabric in the way while I'm sewing stuff down. And here I'm just taking my measuring tape and I'm checking to see if there's an equal amount of space on both sides, just to make sure it's going to look right from the front. Okay, now it's time for the easy part. Well, I like to think of it as the easy part because, like, it's easy to hand sew anything down. The only downside to it is that, like, it takes forever because you really want to get in there and make sure, like, you double knotting at least every third or fourth stitch, maybe. That's how I do it, just to make sure that that applique is secure on that mesh. Because once you get a thread loose and you haven't been double knotting, everything starts to unravel. But if you were to have a double knot, it'll stop it before, the whole applique fall off. So that's how I like to do it. And also, cute little tip, please keep checking to make sure that you're actually catching the applique and the mesh, because you've been thinking that you've been sewing the applique to the mesh and you ain't sewing nothing but the applique, and that's it. And it's gonna make you mad because it like I said, y'all, it takes a long time if you're doing it the right way. And so imagine you've been sewing for 10-15 minutes and you looking to make sure everything's secure and you haven't been catching the mesh. So I like to just keep checking every couple of stitches just to make sure that it's catching, because that'll really make you want to sit down and not even finish the dress. So just please make sure you checking. Another tip that I have is to use clear thread. I don't know, I've seen a lot. Some people use white thread. Some people try to, match the color of the dress or whatever. But I would say invest in some clear thread because it's definitely going to take you a long way for sure. So now that we're a little bit closer, I can show you exactly how I do it. I literally just take my needle, stick it into the applique and into the mesh, and I pull it through. Then I make a knot with my thread and I pull it through that same little loop maybe 2 or 3 times, then I'll pull it. And that's what I mean by the double knot. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll just pull it through once and keep going. But I always make sure that I'm double knotting as frequently as possible. Okay, so now that I have that section done, I'll release the pin and I'm about to take my scissors and cut that extra lace off as closely to the applique as possible without cutting the applique. I cannot stress that enough, because if you cut the applique, you cut one of those beads, the whole thing is going to unravel. Or if you cut too close to even where you've sewn, it'll unravel the whole thing as well. So cut as close as you think that you might be able to get away with without cutting the applique, so you can have like a really, really clean look. Now, I have seen some people on TikTok with the drills, the wood burners or something like that, and I really want to try those, but I don't know how I would do it with the way that I hand sew my appliques on. But I don't know. I really want to get me one though. And maybe when I get one, we can, learn how to do the new method together. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I'm just about to finish, hand sewing this side down as well as the other side. And I'm about to show you guys what the ending product look like. Look at her. Super cute, right? We ate it down. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we did our big one with that. No cap. But anyway, y'all, so this is the finished product. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.